We're official now.
Okay. Let's pop champagne.
Rude.
You want me to just do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What the hell, man?
That was disappointing.
That was disappointing.
You sure you got champagne?
Yeah.
Boo! Alright, well that was...
Well, that takes care of the blooper reel.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to episode 7 of Get Lit and Knit. I'm Allie. I am one half of Get Lit and Knit on YouTube, Instagram, Ravelry, and Elo. I think I've only posted on Elo once, but we're pretty active on all the others. For anybody who's new, I share this podcast with Abby, my best friend from college, who I think is studying for boards now? Or are you still in exams? Sorry. So this is mostly a knitting, occasionally cross-stitching, occasionally designing. We'll talk about that mess later. And almost always drinking while crafting podcast. So the reason you got to meet Patrick earlier is because I'm totally afraid of opening champagne bottles. It was like the most anticlimactic bottle opening ever. I have learned no discount sparkling wine from Whole Foods. Also, you may have noticed a couple new things. We really upgraded our lighting, which was awesome. So big thanks to Devin from Tiny Paper Foxes for recommending all of this. I ordered exactly what he suggested. Finally bit the bullet on it. I had been working with Home Depot clip lights before, and the quality wasn't great, and it was annoying. The light in this apartment is aggressively yellow. So that's exciting. One caveat, I did not anticipate how strong the glare would be against my gallery wall in the kitchen. So we're gonna give this a shot. Might be a little more casual, a little more fun. We'll see. Either way, I am really stoked on the lights. These are beautiful. We're gonna do the usual stuff today, plus a couple extras. You will hear the final part of the Georgetown cardigan saga. We've also got an update on our Cameo Loco knit along, which we have decided to extend. We'll talk about it, but know that you've got time to jump on. And like usual, we're gonna go over what I've been working on, what I finished, what I have acquired. So all of today's works in progress should look pretty familiar to you if you've been watching for a little bit, but the never-ending beekeeper's quilt is growing to the point that I had to upgrade my HexiPuff storage, so let me grab it. I am 99% sure that this is like a 7-layer dip thing. I just bought this at Target for like $10 the other day because I was outgrowing the jar. Like, it was getting hard to get the puffs in and out of the jar. Shannon over at the Sockcetera podcast has changed the criteria of her blanket knit along to be just, knit as much of whatever mini thing brings you joy. But I would really like to finish this blanket before I die, so I picked 20 minis, and I should be able to get 2 out of each one. If I get bored, I'll just pull more colors. But this is what I have done so far. That brings us to 5 puffs out of hopefully 40. I think you have till May 31st for this. It's like maybe the most chill knit along I've seen. Like, it's the kind of thing where the more you chatter, the better your odds are. And I figured I could get down with that. And it might be a fun one for you to jump in on if you'd been wanting to do one of these blankets. If you're going to do the Beekeeper's Quilt by Tiny Owl Knits, I would highly recommend the unstuffed version because I have 2 failed attempts at the stuffed version, and frankly, I like them better unstuffed. Like, it's a cleaner geometric line. And Abby has figured out the secret pattern modification to make these totally even, because sometimes it comes out a little taller on one end than the other. I figure it won't matter once I sew it up, or I'll just, I won't care. But it would be nice to have them all fit. So this next whip has been sitting dormant for a while, but this is a Christmas gift from Patrick, the cutest little Ravelry project bag ever. I suggested this pretty explicitly for Christmas, and I sent him the link. And when we opened it, he didn't realize the branding was on the bottom, and he was like, oh, well, I didn't see that was on there. I was like, nope, I love it. Don't worry about it. So this thing is holding my doodler shawl. I haven't been working on this because I literally cannot fit another stitch on these needles, and I know there are going to be a lot more increases. This thing gets up to an absurd number of stitches. I had to order new needles for this thing. I had to get a 40-inch cable because whatever length this is, a foot and some change, will not hold another stitch. I wasn't working on it, not because I was procrastinating, it's because I literally can't. For anybody who's relatively new to us, the light blue and white is Araucania Huasco, number 34, Clouds Above. All of the different blues and greens, except this, that you see here, are Sweet Georgia Party of 5, Tough Love Sock. I especially love Sapphire. Like, that's a power color for me. This bright green is Deep Stash. I couldn't even tell you what this is. I've given up trying to figure it out. And then I have 2 more greens from that same Sweet Georgia mini pack. I'd really love to finish this thing, and now I can. This is why I've had to go back to knitting socks and why I do the Hexie Puff blanket, because with these bigger projects, I need like instant gratification pieces to balance it out. Okay, last work in progress is for our knit along. So this is the Cameo Loco knit along. The point of the whole thing is that we are knitting the Cameo shawl by Paulina Populek, or Paulina P on Ravelry. If you knit the thing by May 31st, we've extended the deadline by a month because everybody needed more time, and so did I. So knit the thing out of whatever you want by May 31st. That gets you 1 finished object entry. If it's a 2-color shawl, you knit at least half of it with Hue Loco yarn, because that's the whole point of this whole thing, is to promote Nicole's stuff. We'll talk about it when we get to the yarn. If you knit it with half Hue Loco, you get to enter twice, and we are checking for it. I know there's at least one person in the group who's doing it with Hue Loco yarn. So this is co-hosted by Devin of Francofee Knits, and we really want you to double dip on this one. The whole point is, doubling your chances of winning, or I guess quadrupling if you're like super ambitious. So this is just a chance for you to maybe get to know her podcast if you haven't, or if you're coming from hers to get to know us. It's all fun. Let's talk about the shawl. All right, first things first, we have to talk about the Star Wars DPN cozy from Kitchen Counter Craft. She's Java Jenny, one of our Ravelry group members. And this is one of the magical ones that doubles for fixed circulars, which is awesome. I am knitting the Cameo shawl on my good old standby Chiaowu red lace fixed circulars, size 5. I didn't really mess with the gauge. The main color I chose for this, and the inspiration for this whole knit along, is Stardust. This is my desert island yarn, I think. That's not true. My desert island yarn is the contrast color for this pattern. It's Coltrane, without a doubt. That's just the best gray ever. And I knit with a lot of gray. It's the main body, and then there's a striped section. I don't know how much of the striping you can see. It's pretty low contrast, but I'm not mad about it. For me, it actually stretches and tones down the Stardust, which I think is really cool. And then at the end, there's a lace eyelet section that I've just started, and this all ends in a picot. And you do that just with your contrast color. And it's a good thing, because I was really hoping for some Stardust to put into those Hexie Puffs, and I got it, but it wasn't much. It was, I think I ended up with maybe 30 yards by the end, if that. I haven't measured it, but I want to wear you real bad. I'm trying not to truck through this because the knit along doesn't end until May 31st, but I want it, and I want to wear it. I have never had a thing. You start with 1 stitch and you work out, so you don't have any super long rows for a while, which is great. Big fan. There's a chatter thread open for this too. Our first prize for the chatter thread is going to be a copy of the Amboise shawl. That's the one shawl I've knitted. That was a test knit for Devin, and she has gifted that to us, so that'll go to one of you guys in the chatter thread. This is one of the FO thread prizes. And this is 2 skeins of Hue Loco, super generously donated by Nicole. This blew my mind, still does. This is on her opal sock, so it's 50/50 silk superwash merino in well water and a pearl necklace. I'll keep showing prizes as they keep coming in. I also have 2 prizes for another giveaway we're gonna do. I probably should have said this in the beginning, but we are officially at 1,000 subscribers. We're so grateful. We're so excited. So we have a 1,000 subscriber giveaway on our Ravelry group. We also have a 1,000 follower giveaway on Instagram right now. Start with the Instagram giveaway. The rules are all on the post, but if you go onto our account, there's a skein of Brew City yarns in their Dumble D colorway. Yes. Abby picked this up at YarnCon. We're giving that away. All the rules are in the post. That closes Sunday. So I think Sunday 5 Central. So definitely get on that. So for the Ravelry/YouTube giveaway, there's going to be an entry thread in the Ravelry group. There's no good way to do it on YouTube. I'm not even going to try. We actually had prizes donated by 2 of our Ravelry group members, which is so cool. Like, the fact that it comes kind of from us and you get to see what people are doing in our group is just really cool. So this is going to come together as a prize pack. It's 2 parts. The first part of the prize is a DPN cozy from Kitchen Counter Crafter, very similar to my Star Wars one, except we were going for a spring, summer, also cocktail theme, so it's citrus wedges. I love it. Prize pack part 2 is also super exciting. Susan from With Pointed Sticks on Etsy put a banner ad at the bottom of our, I think it just automatically pops up on Ravelry, and it was at the bottom of one of the threads I was replying to. I'd been kind of lurking on her shop and creeping on this specific skein. I'll show it later. And Susan and I were talking a little bit in the thread. I'm weak. I bought it in 5 minutes. I put that in the Etsy note, and then Susan super generously offered to donate a skein from her shop, and so we chose Tulip Fields. I love this. This is another one I'd like to keep, but it's not for me. It's for y'all. Thanks again to Susan and Jenny for making that happen. I'll put the thread up when this episode goes up, and it'll have the prompt and the rules, and go to town, because we're super excited, and I say this every week, but to say thank you and to just do something fun with our group. And I love that it's an in-house thing. So there's that. I know this is a lot of gray right now. So you're looking at a 95% finished Georgetown cardigan. It's written by Hannah Fettig in Home and Away. I love the book. I say 95% because this is real life and I have not woven in all of the ends. I started, there's a lot of them. So with a lot of help and coaching from Robin over at Stitching Between Pages, who is my local yarn buddy, she was able to just based on the picture, kind of tell me, girl, you're giving the sweater a hunchback, repin. And she was totally right. And we fixed it, and the front is finally long enough. The fit is great. Initial petty thoughts. Maybe I'm just a sensitive snowflake, but as much as I love this yarn, this is Quince & Co. Owl, half and half, wool alpaca, and it's wool spun, so, retains more air and more heat. I think I'm just a sensitive snowflake because it's a little itchy. I have not worn a full alpaca wool sweater ever. All of the sweaters that my grandma knit for me growing up were acrylic, and so this is just so not my experience. Still gonna wear it, still love it. Really needs a long sleeve shirt. This is a forever sweater for me. Hopefully if I take good care of it, it'll wear really well. That said, I'm gonna pose maybe the most ridiculous question I've asked on this channel so far. Where do I get good quality leather, gray, dark gray, charcoal preferably, elbow patches? I know it's ridiculous, but I think it would just be next level. So if you have a shop, hit me up. I want it. I'm here for it. So unless I'm wearing it, we're not going to talk about this sweater again. without YouTube, and knitting podcasts especially, I never would have attempted this. Because I feel like a lot of the time you don't hear about the struggle and the screw-ups. Like, that's not fun to talk about necessarily. I don't care because I think I'm ridiculous and totally worth making fun of. But it's not fun to admit that you don't have it all figured out. This was totally a learning process. And I think on my next sweater, I'm going to know a little bit more. The next sweater I knit, I really want a pullover. I really want to try knitting it in pieces and blocking the pieces and then putting it together. I just feel like it'll be more manageable to carry around and commute with. A lot of people talk about this, but there's real structural advantages to seams from what I've learned. Also, Ellie wants to murder this sweater because I think she hates alpaca, or she wants to eat it. Ellie's sitting on my next finished object. Getting these might be a little risky. Mom, remember how last week I told you that I needed you to look away because I was going to talk about your Christmas knit? You know you're getting socks. The socks are done. Just look away. We don't need you spoiling the surprise before December. Otherwise, I'm going to have to give them to you for Mother's Day, and I don't know what you're going to do with wool socks in May, so choose your own adventure, I guess. All right, assuming my mother is not going to spoil her own surprise, my mom gets a pair of socks from me every year for Christmas. I think that's 3 years running now. And I really needed a smaller project to break up these big shawls and sweaters and my giant Kanye cross stitch, which I still haven't touched. That's the plan for next week. I just want to get stuff off the needles and knit with the stuff I've acquired. It's not a lot, and I'm pretty happy with my rate of turnover from when I get something to when it gets knitted up. Like, I bought the yarn for these. So my first pair of Rose City rollers. I love these. Like, I especially love, I don't think I've ever knitted a rounded toe or maybe just done it once. Love the rounded toe. And because it's a free pattern, might steal it for my own socks. This is, your standard issue slip stitch heel flap. Big fan of this. Mostly for the twisted rib. I will always like that. I think my next pair of socks, however, will be my first attempt at the Fish Lips Kiss heel. I bought it forever ago. I just have not had the will or the brain space to tackle that. So these Rose City rollers are made with Bruce City yarns. My mom's a huge Wizard of Oz fan. It's her favorite movie ever. So these are her ruby slipper socks. I love this yarn, and I have a good bit of it left over. To the point where I think this is going to be heels, toes, cuffs for my other Bruce City yarn, the All Hail the Glow Cloud yarn, because there's little bits of red in here, and I want more. I don't re-knit patterns too often just because there's so much I want to do, but I think these would be a really cool pair of Hermione's Everyday Socks. Actually sample knit a pair of the Hermione's Everyday Socks for Nicole for her trunk shows. Those came out awesome. I want my own pair. I'm thinking these need to be the Hermione's Everyday Glow Cloud socks. I'm not clever very often, and so when it happens, I'm excited. But this was an acquisition from YarnCon. I bought this online before. I have never been more determined to clear my needles to knit with like a specific yarn. Now that I've got a couple things off, once I finish the cameo shawl, I might be able to justify it. All right, let's talk about my new Fiberista Club acquisition. I wasn't super jazzed on what I got last month. I'm still gonna knit with it. I definitely want to try the BFL, push myself. It might come out to be something I really enjoy. But I really love what I got this month. Because who doesn't love a little sweet Georgia? And this colorway is just something I would not have picked for myself. And I love it. Abby and I, were talking about it, and it's very, raspberry sundae. So this is Sweet Georgia Bulletproof Sock. And it's a cool fiber blend. It's, 50% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 15% kid mohair, and 15% silk. And this is in Sugar Shack. Especially, where is that section? I love this. That is really cool. So if you have suggestions for that skein, go to town, because the suggestions you guys gave me for this little bit of yarn porn from With Pointed Sticks, you guys gave me awesome recommendations, and I'm still so torn. I get like irrationally attached to colorways that are just, I don't know, different and exciting to me because I'm pretty staunchly in my comfort zone. And no one is more annoyed by how entrenched I am in that comfort zone than me. So this is Susan's ballpoint sock base. It's 80/20 superwash merino nylon, you know how I do, in Neon Tiger. And I didn't realize how much yellow is in this, and I really like it because if there's one thing I need in my stash, my socks, and my Hexie Puff blanket, it's yellow. My problem though, as much as I want this to be socks, my winter coat is navy. I think this needs to be by my face. The problem is I think I need to go get some kind of coordinating yarn for this because it's 400 yards and a lot of the stuff I was really excited about making with this is double that. So I may pick up more Neighborhood Fiber Co. from Windy Nitty because I had awesome luck with that on the Amboise shawl. And it seems like it's a pretty similar weight. I think Neighborhood Fiber Co. just might be a higher twist. It's gotta be a cowl or a shawl, or I could knit a hat out of this, but I've already made a sockhead hat. And as cool as this would look in a sockhead hat, I don't know if I could make another one. Suggestions, I'm open. Throw them out there. Because it's going to be a little bit before I get to this. The last acquisition is something I put on Instagram. Told you guys if I've been designing, I am still swatching. I still have a sinking feeling that the thing I'm trying to do is too ambitious because I've never designed before. But I got this guy. So, The Beginner's Guide to Writing Knitting Patterns by Kate Atherley. I hope I'm not butchering that. This is awesome for the nitty-gritty, how to write patterns that people want to knit and are easy to understand and fun to do. She gets into a little bit of the copyright law and intellectual property, which is interesting to me because I'm a giant nerd, and important. I think this is going to be really useful to me in like a month, maybe. What I want and need, if it exists, please tell me this exists. I really want something on the design process. I know everybody does it differently. I just feel stuck. I can kind of see it. It's more about making the math work for what I want to do, which isn't totally normal, but I still really want it to be an enjoyable process knit too. The only thing I can compare it to is it's like writing a paper. You know what you're trying to say and what you're trying to convey, and it's just the act of pulling it out of your head and making it something tangible that somebody else can understand is hard and painful, and it takes discipline. And there's enough going on in my life right now that I can't do it for more than an hour a day, really. 2 if I'm lucky, and I can't do it every day. Like, I was getting, like, kind of pissed at the process and pissed at myself and had to put it away for a few days because I was like, I know. I was being too hard on myself, but I just want to make the thing, mostly because I want to wear the thing. And I have a whole ebook in my head. And I know I have easier patterns in my head that I could feasibly write faster, maybe better. But this pattern is nagging at me. It is like kind of demanding to be worked on. And until I do this, I feel like I can't give adequate attention and energy to anything else I want to design. I'm trying to do the thing where I'm not too hard on myself. I'm gentle with myself. I trust that one way or another, I will get it done because it's really going to bother me until I get it done. But to get it done at the level that I want to do it is going to take longer than I would like it to. So my hope, vain hope, is that if I jump in with both feet, it'll be a little bit easier to design more simple, straightforward knits. If you have designed, if you are a designer, if you have run into this, I feel like half of this podcast is like a cry for help. It is, especially with this part of it. I am ignorant. Jon Snow knows nothing. Enlighten me. I'm so here to learn. Let's wrap up by talking about the exciting stuff that inspired the kind of anticlimactic champagne toast. The reason I'm super excited is a lot of stuff kind of fell into place at once. You know, we hit serious milestones on YouTube and on Instagram. And I think the thing that we're, like, Abby and I are proud of more than anything is I genuinely love the way everybody's interacting so far. Like, people are starting to talk to each other, which is great. Keep doing that. Like, I can't respond to everybody now that, like, I think our Ravelry group has 250 members, and people are getting really active and talking to each other. Keep doing it. It's awesome. It's really fun to watch, too, because if I have time to read and I don't have time, I don't want to give you a response if it's not going to be thoughtful and genuine. Like on the intro thread, this is why it takes me a little bit longer to do it, because how many times can I say, thanks for joining, because, like, before it looks like I'm copying and pasting the thing. I want that to be real, because it's going to be really obvious to both you and me if it's not real, and I won't feel good about it. Like, what's the point? So we're proud of the numbers, sure, but I'm really proud of the international studies political science part of my brain is yelling at me for using the word community so loosely, but really, we have a cool thing going. So that happened. I don't really talk about this because I don't really love, I don't know, birthdays kind of plateau after 21. It was my birthday on the 10th, and I got to travel for that. We got to surprise Patrick's mom because her birthday's the day before mine, and that was really fun. The best part of this, far and away, and everything else is amazing, but while I was in the airport going to visit Patrick's family, we got through security. We're waiting for a table at dinner, and I just kind of randomly refreshed my email. I really should stop looking at email after 5, but when you work from home, boundaries are hard. So I just kind of randomly refreshed it, and I got an email from my top choice law school, and the subject line said, scholarship offer increase. When you get a few different offers from a few different law schools, there can be a little bit of a negotiation process, and it's mostly just paperwork. It's like explaining, here's why I really want to go to your school, but I've got this offer and it would be irresponsible for me to not consider it. And so you send that explanation and the factors in your life. You submit like a PDF of whatever other scholarship letters you've gotten that you need, like a hard copy. It was a whole process I wasn't looking forward to. It was a necessary evil. They could say no, but I was at least going to try. My plan was to do it the following Monday because I was waiting on one more letter. And that Friday, I got an email, and my school of choice in Chicago, I really didn't want to leave, matched the best offer I got. I may or may not have cried in midway. I mean, and I know that this is just kind of the gateway to, like, congrats, you got in. You could just do a lot more work and spend a lot more money and go into a lot more debt now. I'm just so ready for it, though. This is something I have wanted to do, and I've wanted to do a lot of different things in my life. I explored a lot of different options and tried a lot of stuff on, and I'm glad I did. I keep coming back to this. At the end of the day, I still want to be an attorney. Anybody who knows me is watching this and shaking their head like, of course this was going to happen. To me, it felt like there were plenty of places where it couldn't have happened. And I don't know, a lot of good stuff collided at once. And I know it gets harder and more stressful from here. And I'm still excited about it. I'm ready to do the work. So that starts mid-August. That's really sooner than I realized until I looked at the countdown. I think today is like 115 days or something like that. I don't know. It's still a lot for me to wrap my head around. But for now, I am excited to, finish out the rest of kind of my free time while I'm working full time and I have nights to myself to continue to do this the way I do. And Abby and I have a bonus episode scheduled. I'm really excited about that. Now to be able to change and bump up the quality and diversity of our content. So the long and the short of it is you should definitely keep an eye on this channel because we have not, I don't think we've set up a concrete upload schedule for the mini series that we're starting. Keep an eye out for something a little extra in the next week. I'll put it on Instagram. We're grateful if you've been watching from day one, if you found us somewhere in, the past couple months, or if you're checking us out for the first time. I have a playlist of all of our old episodes in order, so if you want to binge watch, we make that easy for you. And I won't talk about it too explicitly because I have a feeling this episode's going to be a little longer than usual. Hopefully not. I've uploaded a playlist of my music recommendations. It's everything I remember recommending on the podcast. If I remember other stuff, I'll put it in. And I already have my recommendations up for this week. All right, I think that's officially it for us. Glad I remembered the music thing because a lot of y'all wanted that and were asking for it. So it's there. It's done. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Follow us on the things if you're not following us on the things. There's plenty more of the same self-deprecating humor, drinking, knitting, and all the stuff, hopefully you enjoyed here. As always, thanks again for watching. We really appreciate it. More than you know. We'll see you for some extra bonus stuff and on the next podcast. Bye. Glamorous. Has all kinds of fiber and stuff on it. So does my life. This is like a solid third of the bottle. Oh. No, you seem feisty. Here, just pets. Just love.